It is now my pleasure to introduce to you United States Senator Jack Reed.
Good morning. I am very proud to stand with you, proud to stand with my colleagues in government, Treasurer Magazina, Mayor Lawser, Senator Josh Miller, Senator Bridget Valverde, Representative Wranglin Vassell, and particularly my dear friend and colleague, Congressman Jim Landsman. Thank you, Jim, for all you do. Thank you. Let me thank Moms Demand Action and the students who are leading this effort. I was particularly impressed, as we all, with the eloquence of Jayshel Shank, with the eloquence of Gabe Murnoff, and with Devin Hutu. Thank you very much. Particular appreciation and thanks to Giovanna Rodriguez, who is a survivor of gun violence, and Deanna Darlington and Mira Latimer, who lost children to gun violence. Their pain today is our pain, but they are extraordinary women who are leading us forward, and we thank them for that. It's been more than 6 years from Sandy Hook, and we all paused and said, it'll never happen again. No deranged individual with an automatic weapon will come in and kill young children. But 2 weeks ago, there was Dayton and El Paso. It's been over a year since Parkland, 4 years since Charlestown. And in fact, since Sandy Hook, thousands have perished because of shootings that have taken place throughout this country. And in the face of these tragedies, what people have said is, oh, this is terrible. But what the opposition to gun control has said, wait, they'll forget. They'll move on to something else. Well, you will not let us forget. You will not move on to something else. You will insist every day we do our job. It has been 10 years since Congress last passed meaningful gun control legislation. And this is despite the support of the vast majority of Americans, including gun owners. They want sensible reform. They want universal background checks. They want red flag legislation. And there's strong bipartisan support in Congress for this. But we have to move forward. We have to transform this activism, this moment, into real progress, not prayers for the moment, but legislation forever. Now, all across this country, Moms for Action and other groups are organizing rallies, they're marching, they've met with representatives, they're making it clear we must have action. They want to get something done. We must get something done to keep our children and our relatives and our friends safe, and to make sure that gun violence does not happen again. Now, early this year, the House of Representatives, with Jim Landsman at the lead, passed the Bipartisan Background Checks Act. This bill will close a loophole that allows guns to be sold at gun shows and through private sales without a background check. In fact, 1 in 5 gun purchases go unchecked. That is unacceptable. I've introduced in the Senate, on a bipartisan basis with Marco Rubio, red flag legislation that will allow family members and law enforcement officers to petition the courts to show that the individual, because of some type of problem, cannot safely have a gun in his possession. Our current laws make it too easy for criminals, domestic abusers, and prohibit individuals to access guns. We have a responsibility to keep guns out of the wrong hands. Unfortunately, the Senate leadership has failed to bring up gun control legislation for a vote, even after the 2 mass killings we've witnessed. I have personally called on Majority Leader McConnell to bring the Senate back from recess to vote on legislation immediately. I would much prefer to be in Rhode Island, but I should be in Washington today voting on gun legislation. Let me say something else about gun legislation. I spent my youth as a paratrooper and an Army Ranger, and so I know that there are weapons out there that are military weapons. They were never designed for hunting or target shooting. They were designed for one simple purpose, and that was the job I was given then. It was to kill people with massive volumes of fire. Those weapons should not be on the streets of America today. No one should live in fear that they'll send a child to school and get a call that he's been killed or she's been killed. Nobody should live in fear that their parents or grandparents have gone to a prayer service at a church and they've been killed by violence, by gun violence. We have to pass sensible gun control legislation. Now, the one question we're asking a lot of our colleagues is, when will you stand up to the NRA? When will you say that your constituents are more important than the NRA? When will you say that children throughout this country are more important than the NRA? When will you say peace and security and tranquility in our communities are more important than the NRA? When that day comes, we will have our legislation. And we can't do this as Republicans or Democrats or Westerners or Easterners. This has to be a bipartisan effort. This has to be an effort that reflects the American people, not special interests, but the interest of America. And that's what we have to work for. Now, let me assure you, I'm going to continue my efforts. I'm going to keep working. It was a great day in 1994 when I could vote for the assault weapons ban. It was a sad day in 2004 when the Republicans killed the renewal and it languished. It took off the books. It was taken off the books. I worked closely with John McCain. We actually passed an amendment on legislation that would close the gun show loophole. But when that happened, the NRA called, the Republican leadership said, take the bill down. We can't have that precedent in the United States Senate that a majority of senators are for sensible gun control in terms of the background check at private gun shows. But we're going to keep working. And one reason is because you're working, because your passion, your energy, your commitment will not cease, will never cease. You will keep us going. And when that day comes, it will be your victory and America's victory.